there, welcome to another edition of AC 24/7. I'm Lamar Baldwin. Today, the world is marking 1 year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Landmarks across the world are lit up in the colors of Ukraine's national flag as people gather for peace rallies in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and Europe. Meanwhile, President Biden is meeting with G7 leaders and Ukraine's president. The Advocate Channel's John Lawrence reports.
Today marks 1 year since Russia began its unprovoked offensive on Ukraine.
In the East, it's very difficult, painful, but we are doing everything to withstand it. As for the South, in some places the situation is quite dangerous, but our troops have the means to respond to the occupiers.
The U.S. has been lending assistance to the Ukrainian resistance since the war began.
We're going to continue to look at what is necessary and make sure that we provide what is necessary, that Ukraine has what it needs to succeed on the battlefield, so it is in the best possible position to secure its sovereignty and territorial integrity.
On your borders.
Symbols of support for Ukraine are also seen across the Atlantic, where some European landmarks, including the European Parliament in Brussels, are lit up in the colors of the Ukrainian flag.
I want people to unite among us and to unite and basically to fight back this atrocity which is Russia is doing to us.
On Thursday, the UN General Assembly approved a resolution that condemns the Russian invasion, calling for a withdrawal of Moscow's troops, with 141 votes in favor, 7 against, and 32 abstentions. China, among the abstentions, released a 12-point document on Friday that calls for ending the war and resumptions of peace talks.
It's much bigger than Ukraine. This war is actually changing the way we as Europe function and maybe the world functions.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Extreme weather is gripping part of the U.S. as millions of people deal with historic conditions. The brutal winter storms are disrupting air travel and have caused nearly 1 million power outages. The Advocate Channel's Mike Valerio has more details.
Extreme weather hitting coast to coast, and there's more on the way.
This is really just the calm, yeah.
A series of brutal winter storms continued to stretch across the U.S. on Thursday, dumping snow, blizzard conditions, or ice across parts of the country from California all the way to New England. It's all part of a weather pattern that's already shut down roads, caused nearly 1 million power outages, and disrupted thousands of flights. According to FlightAware, more than 1,000 flights were canceled and more than 3,200 delayed within the U.S. on Thursday alone.
It's very frustrating. It's been a long time since I've had to sleep in an airplane. I could be doing a lot of other things.
The disruptions come one day after more than 1,700 flights were canceled and more than 7,000 were delayed. And there's concern the lingering weather conditions could further disrupt air travel and make driving even tougher.
It's not the way that you want to go down that hill.
No.
At one point on Thursday, more than 60 million people were under weather alerts from New England all the way to the west, from Portland to San Diego County, people making the best of snowy conditions.
You got the beach at 30 minutes, you got the snow in 30 minutes, so it's the best thing we can have in the U.S.
And the extreme weather in Southern California is just getting started. Ventura and Los Angeles counties bracing for an extremely rare event. Blizzard warnings in place through Saturday. In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
No One Is Who They Seem in Apple TV Plus' new neo-noir thriller, Sharper. The characters are competing for riches and power in a high-stakes game of ambition, greed, lust, and jealousy. The Advocate Channel's Rachel Smith sat down with Julianne Moore and Sebastian Stan to figure out more.
I want you to be honest with yourself, Max. If I were to hire you to work for me, how do you think it would end?
Not well.
I agree. Still, I want to offer you a job. I'm thinking $60,000 a month.
60 grand a month? For what?
To go out and find opportunity. Make a mark for yourself.
You want...
First of all, you guys, thank you so much. Not only is this cast, and you guys are such a dream team, but growing up, Alfred Hitchcock, I love suspense thrillers so much. It's my all-time favorite genre. And then you set it in New York with a heist and con. I mean, it just looks like it checks all the boxes. So this is really such a treat.
Thank you. I'm so glad. So happy to hear that.
Let me ask both of you, what was that one movie growing up as a movie fan that really kept you guessing and with all the twists and turns that made doing this movie now as an actor so enjoyable?
Well, when it comes to this movie, I sort of, like I remember growing up and really being kind of enamored with that Usual Suspects, just sort of just in terms of characters and really thinking as an audience member that I knew what was happening, and then this twist at the end that just I didn't see coming, and this sort of, when I read this, I was really genuinely surprised. I didn't expect the things that I had seen.
I was talking about Marathon Man earlier to somebody. I loved something. It was, it's set in New York City, and this idea that like people start kind of there's this energy and people, the long lenses and people shouting things and not knowing, like someone seeing something but other people not knowing it. I don't know. I love it. I like the fact that it's an urban thriller too. That's just fun for me.
Hi.
Hey.
For me?
Yeah.
Got your money.
Oh, you didn't have to do that today.
I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Thank you.
Just keep the change.
Okay.
Julia, you've had Oscar, your career has been so incredible. And, like with a con man or con woman, every job, I'm sure they get better. What is the one part of your career you feel like you really sharpened your skills?
I know that every time I do a job, I'm learned something else and I figure something else out. I'm like, oh, I need to do it like this. Oh, I need to. But I do drag a lot of habits with me. I have weird habits with my script where I tag my week's work and I put different colored tabs on things and I fold down pages and I do all sorts of weird stuff. And I realized that the physicality of like working with that helps my brain process what I'm doing. And that's a process that I developed over years and years and years. It's pretty silly, but one of my things. Yeah.
And Sebastian, I've got to say too, the last couple of years, I'm just going to say thank you because you've just been giving us from Winter Soldier to Fresh to Pam and Tommy, such a range of roles and characters that have been equally entertaining to watch. Which of all those characters do you think would be most blown away by the twists and turns in this film?
Oh boy, I don't know. That's a wild question, but thank you. I've been really lucky. I think with Marvel, it's really given me a platform, an opportunity to be able to try to kind of like keep, seeking things, and I just try to work with people I admire and I feel like I can learn from, and I think if there's a connection with the director, I've also learned I'm better. If I'm challenged in the scene by someone great, I'm better. So I feel like I found that now, and I'm gonna just kind of keep going down that path as best as I can. But
absolutely, I think all of your characters would watch this because it's got everything, right?
That's true.
Paying them back is not an option.
So what is an option?
I give him money and he runs.
Okay, so.
And this was fun. Like, this was a really cool way of doing it. We had this great dance sequence that was, that's going to be there forever now. It's going to be, in my head at least, it will live on the YouTube, clips of all time or something.
We had a lot. We had a lot of fun. There was we all really enjoyed each other and loved going to work, and it was a great group. And our director was so kind and collaborative. I think there was a high morale. I think on the set, and I think I hope it shows.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of AC 24/7. For more content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamar Baldwin.